Hey, hi guys. I'm the instructor for this Mule 4 course, right? And I'm having total 11 plus years of experience in IT and 5 years on Mule 3 and Mule 4 as well. And one of the track record I have here is who are aiming for the certification in the hour and in our interview perspective, especially in a certification perspective, around 500 to 600 people who attended the training and after that who appeared for the exam, none of them failed till now. Okay, that is one of the streak I'm maintaining. So hopefully I will maintain the same with you as well if anyone aiming for the certification, right? And the concepts what I'm going to teach, I'm going to talk about right now. And it's a what do you call it? It's a standard agenda of a mule. Okay, what I'm going to discuss, what I'm going to show here is it's a standard agenda of a mule, right? So first of all, this session is divided into three parts. First, I will discuss about the use case. What is the mule in order to make you to understand about what is a mule, right? What is this mule application, right? Once you understand about this tool, where we stands in an organization or in a project, if you understand that concept, then we are going to talk about what are the topics I'm going to cover in this, right? Then at the end, we will see what are the prerequisites for this course, right? So let me start. As I said, this session is divided into three parts. And in my sessions, I'm not going to use any PPT. I'm going to draw as a, I mean, you can feel this as like an offline session only because I'm going to use my notepad. That means my pen to draw the pictures. That means everything will be in the drawings only, right? So which helps effectively rather than using a PPT, right? So just running the PPT, I don't think so it will work much. Okay, so I will treat everyone as zero in not only in Mule or not only integration, everyone as a zero in IT. So accordingly, I will start from the scratch, right? If you have some knowledge on integration platform or in a Mule, it will be an added advantage to you. So, I mean, in our program, it's not going to affect anything, right? Because I'm going to start from the scratch. I'm keeping everyone in my mind and design this course. Right. Let me start. Only for, okay, you may ask me if I show the PPT, you said just you're not using a PPT. Only for the demo session, I created this PPT. Apart from that, every session is of only drawings. So first, we are going to talk about so what is a Mulesoft 4.3? Just first slide you are saying here, Mulesoft 4.3. What do you mean by that? Anyone? And my session should be from straight away from demo. It should be an interactive sessions.
4.3 is a version
Of what?
of Mulesoft.
What is a MuleSoft?
Mule runtime engine, I guess. It's a version of Mule runtime engine.
Okay, then what is a MuleSoft?
Java-based tool.
A company which is providing ESB technology.
Exactly, is a company, and Mule is a runtime, and 4 is the version. Previously, what is the version we have?
3.
3. 3.9 is the last, right? Then we started with the Mule 4, 4.1, 4.2, like that. Right now, what is the latest version? In our program also, we are going to discuss about that latest version. What is that? Mule 4.3. That means what? It's a Mule runtime version. What do you mean by runtime?
It's a platform to run.
Basically,
Run
in another
the
simple
program.
language, can I call that as a server?
Yes.
Mule server, right?
Yes.
And can you name some application servers which you already saw in the IT industry?
Apache Tomcat, JBoss,
Exactly.
Glassfish.
All these are the application servers, right? At the same
Yes.
time, Mule is having their own server. That means separate container. That means their Mule is having their own container. Everything is a container in the servers, right? So this Mule application, whatever you create, that should be deployed only on a Mule runtime. Got it? Only on a Mule runtime. So what is the version we are right now? We are using Mule 4.3. That is the meaning here. Is it? Next. After attending my sessions, you can aim for MCD level 1, Mulesoft Certified Developer level 1. It's a certification course. sorry, it's a certification, right? You will be having a 2 attempts for that, right? Mostly my candidates will clear it in a single attempt only. Okay, and I will guide you how to clear that, how to approach for the certification, how to get a discounts on that, our vouchers, and the questions how to practice. Everything I will be guiding on you on that, right? So finally, you are going to make an attempt on MCD level 1, Mulesoft Certified Developer level 1. There is no level 2. In future they may not, they may introduce, but as of now there is no level 2. Next level is integration architecture solutions. That is an architecture level, right? This is a developer course. Next, first let me tell you what is this mule, why we use this in an organization. Anyone can tell me what is a mule and why we use this in an organization? What is the requirement of this tool?
It is an integration tool, right? Generally connects.
Integration means what? Connecting between
Connects different systems together.
Okay, assume this is an integration application, mule application. Example, you said this is a bridge between two applications. Yes, yes or no? Right? Assume this is my client application. We are acting as a bridge in between, and he wants to get the data from different applications. Example, I have 3 e-commerce applications like Amazon, Flipkart, ShopClose. Say 3 e-commerce application, and my client's requirement is what? By using this bridge, he want to send a request to all these applications concurrently. Concurrently means what? Simultaneously, at a time. Simultaneously. So my client is sending a request to Mule application. That means my application, and we will write some logic here to listen to the request. What is the request we are getting? Assume that my client application, it's a web application. Example, the name for that client application is SmartPrix. SmartPrix, which is a comparison site. What ultimate idea is what? Whenever any user walk in or log into his website, and if we type for any of the product detail, and if we click on a search button, the request should go to all the e-commerce applications like Amazon, Flipkart, and ShopClose, and they are giving in a different format, right? He want to convert that format into his own format, and he want to display all the details at one go. For example, many mule training centers or Mulesoft itself will be using an example called flights example. Similar to that, it's a SmartPrix application which is getting the product details from the different e-commerce applications. What is the first requirement? Whenever any user walk into that, and if we click on, or else if we type any product detail, that request, so browser means obviously it's an HTTP request, right? So whenever you give a HTTP request, that request should go to all the applications, third-party applications. So in order to send multiple applications, I'm telling very simple logic here. There are many complex logics inside that. Just make you to understand where we stand. So whenever he sent a request, my Mule application will listen for that request. And how many requests to be sent? How many applications are there?
Three
Right?
applications.
From my client application, how many requests I'm getting? 1, right?
One
I want to scatter that one request into multiple requests by using one component in Mule. Can you please name that component? You will use at your home also that component, which takes. Pardon?
Is it scatter gathered?
You will use scatter gather at your home.
No.
It's a rotor.
So I think you are already aware of a Mule. That's why maybe that technology used. I'm just putting in a very layman language. So at your home, where is one device which will take one signal into that, and what are the devices you connected to that? It will scatter that signal to all. What is that component?
It's a rotor.
Router, right? Router. What it will do? It will take a single signal, and what are the devices connected? It will send that request to all concurrently. So my first requirement, sending request to all the applications concurrently, is it done? First requirement is fulfilled. Second requirement, once I send a request, it will execute some logic here and they are going to send some response back. My router will gather that response also. That is the reason someone told whatever router it is, scatter, gather router in mu. Okay, don't get panic if you're not able to understand the terminologies and all. Okay, we are going to see all this in detail in the sessions. Okay, since it's a demo, I just want to give some insights of that. I'm just using it. Of course, if someone is not used the scatter gather, I would have not used this word also. I just simply talk it as a router, right? Now, from this Amazon application, assume that I have one format. Example, JSON format. You know different formats, right? JSON, XML, Java format and all, right? So this Amazon application is sending responses JSON format. Flipkart application is sending the response in XML format. And the shopclose is sending in a Java format, that is Java object, right? So my router is gathering all the responses in a different format. Second requirement from my client is he want to concatenate all these responses, that means all the data together as a single response, right? How can he do that? There is one more powerful tool in Mule called transformer. Of course, the transformer is very powerful in any integration platform, and especially in Mule, transformer is very powerful with the combination of one language. In Mule, we are going to use one language called data view language. Okay, with this combination with the transformer, it's a very powerful tool, right? So what it will do, it will take all these three different responses as an input and it will concatenate here. Of course, we have some functions to concatenate. I will discuss that later. Assume that there is one function which will take all these three different output from the router as an input to the transformer and it will concatenate, and whatever the concatenated body, he want to get that output in a JSON format. Finally, all this concatenated data he want to get in a JSON. So in the transformer itself, we can define whatever the body here can be converted into the format what you specified. Basically, this is a transformer which contains two parts, header and a body. Whatever you write in the body, it will be converted into the format what you specified here. So if I specified as JSON, automatically the body will be converted into JSON. That's what I have written here. If it is smaller inside, that's why I expanded and I mean draw here. So I have written some function to concatenate. That concatenated values will be converted into JSON. At the end of the application, the response will be given back to the listener. This is called a listener. What type of listener? It is accepting HTTP. So HTTP listener. Listener is responsible to receive the request and send the response back to the client as well. Okay. At the end of the application, the response will be given back to the client. So my client, what they will do, I mean, client means web developer. What he will do, he will take care of the presentation layer, how to display. That means what do you mean by presentation layer? Color, font size, and if the product details are coming from the Amazon application, what is the image to be displayed for the Amazon, for the what is the image for the Flipkart, all these things. Got it? So where we stands in this example, as a Mule developer, you required some, you required some requirement. According to the requirement, you are writing some what type of logic? What is this logic means? Yeah, what the logic I have written?
Business logic.
Integration logic, basically how to integrate with the third-party application, getting the response, converting, transformation, everything I have done here in the Mule, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Now, one small question to you. If two applications want to speak with each other and two are written in two different languages, how they are going to communicate?
Web services, through web services.
Exactly. Web services. That means either web service is nothing but another word. Can I call that as an API?
Yes.
Yeah. Mule is not only an ESB, it is an API management tool also. So See, this is my client application, which is assumed that it is written or developing by using a Java language. And this Mule application, I am writing some service, right? That service is used by my web application, right? So this is one application. This is one application. If my client application want to integrate with my Mule application, definitely my Mule application should expose as an API. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Mule application should expose as an API. API is nothing but a web service. There are two types of web services: REST and a SOAP. This is
Sujit,
one of
what
the
is web
prerequisite.
service?
That is the actually prerequisite. Web service. Web service is
Oh,
nothing but it's a mediator between two applications. See, assume that there are two people, A and B. A person knows only Spanish, B person knows only Tamil. How they will communicate?
so they can
English.
communicate with some person who knows both languages.
Yes. Or else
English.
they need to know some universal language like English. Yes.
Common
To communicate.
languages. Yeah.
So web service is nothing but an English language in that scenario.
So
That
it's a
means
common language for
exactly.
both. Yeah.
Exactly. That is nothing but an API, application program interface. So whatever the service we are going to create, that means according to the requirement, first we need to create an API. That means API means what? Either it could be a REST API or a SOAP API. Nowadays everyone are using what API? Which is the easiest API among these two? REST or a SOAP? Of course, REST API, right? SOAP is a complex because it's a standard format, XML format only. If you want to write a small arithmetic operation also, you need to write a header, body, envelope, everything, right? So nowadays we are using a REST API. In our sessions also, we are going to see how to design an API, REST API of your Mule application, right? For that, we will write the implementations. These all are the implementations. So if you're not able to understand what is an API, what is a web service and all, you can ignore as of now, not required. Okay, we have some time to start a batch, right? From Monday, we are going to start a new batch, right? So meanwhile, next 2 days, you can just browse on what is a web service. So here in this scenario, what I'm trying to do, my client application is trying to integrate with my Mule application. How? By using a API. That means my Mule application is exposed as an API. Then this is the first leg. When you come to the second leg here, my Mule application is connecting or integrating with the third-party application like Amazon, Flipkart, and ShopCluse. Yes or no?
Yes.
Now, when I am going to integrate with application A, that means Amazon application, that application also should expose as an API. Yes,
Yes.
to integrate that
Yes.
every application will be exposed as an API, right? Either it could be a REST API or a SOAP API. So what is the official format for a SOAP application?
XML.
Is there any official format, standard format for REST?
No.
No. We can use a JSON or any other format. Maximum, 99% we use a JSON only for a REST application. So that is the reason I have taken JSON as a response. Got it? Now, according to the requirements, we are going to create the Mule service. Mule service. So, is it not a service what I have written in between rectangular box? Is it not a service
Yes, it's a
which
service.
can be used at an organization level? See, at an organization level, not only the SmartFix application, there may be some other e-commerce application. That means a comparison application. For them also, they require same kind of integration logic. They can use the service. Yes, my service. That means whatever I created in the Mule application, can they use the same service to integrate? Yes, right?
Yes.
Where they are using at an organization level. Correct?
Yes.
Organization means enterprise, right? At an enterprise level, they are using this service. This service is following some structure, some framework. What is that framework called? Bus framework. My HTTP request is traveling from one location to another location through some set of channels and components, right? If you want to travel from one location to another location, if you don't have a car or bike, what you'll do? You'll take a transit as a bus. Same here, HTTP is traveling from one location to another location through some bus-like structure, right? So Mule is an ESB. Can you please name some ESBs in the market apart from Mule?
Elbow me, fuse.
Apache Camel. What else? TIPCO. Yes, many are there. Many market players are there, right? How Mule is different, that we'll discuss in our session. So basically understood what is a Mule application, what we are going to do here, how to do it, how to write the code, and based on the requirements, how to design the APIs. All these things we'll see in our sessions. Got it? Any doubts here? Okay, next. See, in order to see, whenever you are attending a demo session, what you'll think, I mean, what you look for, if you're learning for the first time, you will look for how you will be getting hands-on experience on that particular tool. Correct? So my sessions is of 22 to 25 working hours, and in that 22 to 25, first two sessions are dedicated to understand about what is a Mule. I mean, what I draw here, I'm going to elaborate this again. And what is an architecture of Anypoint platform? Anypoint platform is nothing but a cloud platform of Mule. So first two sessions, I theoretically discuss about this Mule application, right? From third session onwards, practical scenario starts. Okay. From that time onwards, we required something like Anypoint Studio. Many people who attending this demo right now may aware of what is an Anypoint Studio. Then you might have browsed for that, right? Anypoint Studio is like an Eclipse IDE. It's an IDE. Basically, it's a development environment. It's an IDE. Eclipse also an IDE. Similarly, Anypoint Studio is also an IDE, which is developed by using an Eclipse plugins. How many of you are aware of Eclipse here?
I'm aware
Yes.
of it.
Same. Eclipse is also nothing but a IDE to write some classes. I mean, to create some Java applications and all. Similarly, Anypoint Studio is also separately designed to create your Mule applications where we are going to use. Okay. Next is 85% hands-on and 15% theoretical. As I just told, 2%, two classes only the theoretical. From third session onwards, fully hands-on. How you will practice? We require some not only by seeing the recording. Everywhere we are going to share the recording video to you, but by just seeing the recording and practicing, it doesn't work. You will not remember anything, right? Parallelly, if you do. So what I have done, I created huge set of documents. This is the folder which I am going to give. Okay, this is the folder which comprises of many softwares and some zip files. What are the zip files? If I extract this Mule 4 labs and workspace zip file, you will be getting a huge set of documents. For each and every topic, I created one document. Okay, you need to treat this document as a requirement and you need to practice. While you are opening this document, before that, I already completed my session and you watched the video and you are known, I mean, what you are going to do. So then open this document and try to practice. Where you will practice? Of course, in Anypoint Studio. You can create your own project, or else I have given predefined projects. Here you can see, if you open this folder, I have given many predefined projects, start and solution project approach. I will follow start and solution project approach for each and every topic. Example, there is a Mule basic start and Mule basic solution. So in this, if you want to practice from starting, then you import this start project to your Anypoint Studio. Read the document and start practicing. If you stuck somewhere, then you can go to the solution project and you can refer to the solution project. No need to wait for my clarification. Straight away, you can rectify the answer on your own. Still, if you're not able to get that point, I am there to help you out. Either in the session or I will be sharing my mail ID. You can send the details to my mail ID. Anything you can do. Okay. So this is the approach which I follow in the market. I think so. I mean, ever you will get this kind of a structure. I mean, which I created with a lot of efforts. Next, there are some few more files which are dependency files for my program. In our program, I'm going to use many like database. For the database, we require some commands like that. These are the dependency files for my program. So in this folder, what we have, Anypoint Studio. I'm going to give the latest version. This is the old version 7.5.1. Right now, the latest version is 7.8 Anypoint Studio version. This Anypoint Studio 7 version is compatible only with a Mule 4, not with a Mule 3. At the same time, Mule 4 is compatible only, with a 7, not with a Anypoint Studio 6. If you are getting confused, ignore it. I will tell again, right? And some installers, MySQL installer. We are going to use MySQL as a database vendor in our program. So installer I have given, Postman, SOAP UI. So just download this. Once you enroll to this program, please download this folder and keep it ready. That's it. What to do, when to extract it in a zip file, how to install, all these things I will take care of. Okay, only your work, your responsibility is to enroll and keep this folder on your machine. That is the only thing I'm expecting before starting a sessions. Right? Next, these all are talking about the same REST application as a client. Anypoint Studio to develop your application. Anypoint platform, it's an architecture of cloud platform of Mule. Now let me come back to the topics. What are the topics I'm going to cover? I can see many are from non-IT background and non from integration background. So I'm not going to read a subtopic here. I'll just summarize what I'm going to cover in this session, right? So first, Mule ESB introduction. In this, we'll see this picture again. Again, I'm going to draw this picture with more elaboration, right? So in this process, we'll see what is a loose coupling, what is a logical coupling, what is a point-to-point integration, how an ESB is helping to overcome the problems of point-to-point integration, right? And then we'll see what is an orchestration concept. It's a very common in a integration platform, right? That means what is an orchestration, with an example we'll see, and what is the structure of a Mule, what is the hierarchy it will follow, and what is the Anypoint platform architecture of Mule, right? First two sessions I will be covering these topics. Next, from third session onwards, as I said, we are going to start with our first program, right? So for example, I'm going to draw this picture. Okay, just let me take from another batch. For example, yeah, this is the flow what we are going to write. In this flow, first, before writing application on your Anypoint Studio, first we'll try to understand how it works behind the scenes, how our Mule application is going to accept the request into the flow, and how it is converting into Mule event. What is the Mule event? What is the structure of that? And how that event is propagated between the processors, right? What is the processor? What is the HTTP message? How it is converting into Mule message? What is the approach Mule follows? All these things we'll see in this session. This is a very, very important session in our entire program, because if you understand how it works behind the scenes, everything will be very easy, right? So by using this picture, I will try to explain what is the Mule event and what is the structure of that, and many things we are going to see. Whenever you see there is a lab, please understand that there is a lab document for that. You need to practice by seeing the lab document. Next, Mule is about the modules. Basically, Mule 4 is a modularized. What do you mean by modularization? Suppose if I'm using a database module, I want to connect with a database. So select is one operation in the database, right? So that select operation is given as a connector to establish a connection between your Mule application and with the external database. Similarly, there's a delete operation. Delete operation is also given as a connector. So everything is a operation is given as a connector. All these connectors are part of module. That is called a module, right? Now I'm going to use first module as Java module. Some Java developer has given, see, by saying this Java and all, don't think that Java is the knowledge required, not required. So some Java developer has given a code to you. Already they are developed and given a code to you. By using a Mule application, how you are going to consume the methods present in it, right? By using a Java module, we are going to see, and we have a lab session for that. Next, till this till this module 3, you might have created your own project, and you may imported the project which from the workspace. All these things we have seen, and you deployed your application also on a Mule server, which is given as an embedded runtime to your Anypoint Studio till this point. Now, whatever the application you have created, if you want to deploy on a production environment, there you don't have an IDE to deploy. So how you will deploy? Here we are going to see multiple deployment strategies. Standalone, which is on-premises; hybrid, which is nothing but your combination of on-premises and cloud, and clouds of deployment. Everything is on cloud. So first we will see in this module 4, that means in this session, how to deploy by using an on-premises, that means standalone runtime, and by using a hybrid model, right? And hybrid model is nothing but registering a mail ID registering a server with the runtime manager. So there are a lot of steps to be followed, right? So this is about a module 4. There is no lab for this because it's the conceptual based, and you will practice once you understand that. Next, another type of integration, consuming a REST API. See here in this, okay, let me go back to your session. In this picture, you can see there is a third-party application, Amazon application, right? It is exposed as a REST API. Definitely, you need to know while you are creating a Mule application how to consume a REST API, right? At the same time, how to consume a SOAP API as well. So that's what we are going to see in our consuming a web services, REST and SOAP, and we have 2 lab sessions for that, right? Next, one more type of integration. Instead of connecting with the third-party applications, I want to pull onto some file directory, and I want to process the records present in it. So how to use a file module? Under that, how to use a write, read, delete, on your update. Many connectors are available. So how to use all the connectors, we'll see in this file endpoint, and we have a lab for that. Next, one more type of integration, database integration. As I said, MySQL is the vendor we are going to use, right? So how to connect with a database? Once you connect, how to write a query, right? We are not concentrating on queries here. No, we are concentrating on how to establish a connection between these two. And of course, I will show some queries to play with the data, right? Once you connected and get the data, how to that means the same application, how you can migrate between the environments like testing environment, development environment, and a production environment without changing the code. Your application should point to respective database. That is called externalization. So what is an externalization? Once you externalize, how you are going to secure that externalized file, right? We have 2 lab sessions for that again. And watermark mode, which stores the previous invocation state of your application in the runtime. So we will elaborate this in a file endpoint itself. While I'm discussing about a file end only, we are discussing about a watermark mode and the object store. Then the domains. Till now, all the projects, whatever we created, are deployed under a default domain. First of all, what is a domain? See, as a developer, if there is a repeated code, what is the idea? We'll write someplace and we are going to reuse that, right? Same concept. Mule is about the configurations. If any project is having, if I have 2 projects are having some configurations in common, why can't I write in some place, and why can't I use that? That is the domain project, where we can write the common configurations, and we can refer our project to the domain project, and it will be processed. That means it will be deployed. That is the domain. We will elaborate that, and we have a lab for that. So here you can see routing concept. That means control flow statements, scatter gather, and a choice router. In our picture, we have seen the scatter gather router. Similarly, there is one more router called choice router, which work based on some condition. With this scatter gather router, by that time we might have completed about consuming a REST, consuming a SOAP, how to connect with the database. So by using all these concepts and with the combination of scatter gather router, we are going to create the same example. That means we are going to create one small project, right? Then again, till now we have seen about the concepts, right? Now we are going to concentrate on transformation logic. See here, I said one transformation logic, how to concatenate the responses. Similarly, there are many functions, predefined functions in Java, how we have methods, packages, and all. In data view language also, we have many functions. It's a functional programming, right? So we how to use a predefined functions, how to create your own functions, and how to extract the data and how to map to your own fields. That is called a transformation, right? And what is the current element, how to iterate, and how to create a local variable. So many things we are going to see in the transformer 1 and 2. That means 2 sessions for that and multiple labs for that, because it's a purely practical oriented, right? Next, very important and interesting topic, exception handling. You might have seen in your program already, I mean in your tools, whatever you're working on, exception handling, right? Same concept here also, but how to use in Mule. When you compare with the Mule 3 to Mule 4, if you're anyone here from Mule 3, this is a total change you can expect from Mule 3 to Mule 4 in exception handling. There are around 5 to 6 strategies in Mule 3 to handle the exception. Those are mapped to only few scopes, 2 scopes in a Mule 4, on error continue and on error propagate scope. So in this process, we will see what is the difference between a continue and a propagate, and how to raise your own errors, and what else, how to map the errors, how to map to your own format, right? Basically we'll see all this exception handling in this, I mean error handling concept. We have a two sessions for that. Yes, next, M unit. So you might have heard about a J unit. What is the J unit? To write some test cases of your Java application. Similarly, Mule has given M unit framework to write some test cases of your Mule application. So in this process, we will see what is a unit testing, what is an integration testing in Mule, right? So we have a different strategies to accept the values or validate the values. So how to use all the strategies by using M unit, we'll see in this session, and we have a lab for that. Actually, this M unit is not part of a fundamental course, but I just introduced because of to ensure that to make you understand about what is the M unit framework, how to use that. At least we have some feel on that, right? So that is the reason I introduced in this fundamental course. And API-led connectivity, it's very important. So if you take the entire SDLC of any software program, is what first gathering the requirements, then the designing the API, then the development, then the testing, deployment. Okay, these are the main categories, right? So in order to design is nothing but a contract is nothing but an API according to the requirement. If you're not designing, after a few months, your client will ask you to change the code. That means he has given one requirement, you have developed something. So to avoid all these problems, we need to have some contract between the client and you. So that contract is nothing but your API. We will call that API also as a specification. What do you mean by specification? Set of guidelines, right? So for your program, I mean, according to the requirement, you are going to write some set of guidelines. So in order to understand about this API, first we need to understand what are different layers present in that API-led connectivity approach. What is the traditional approach? What is the API-led connectivity approach? How it is different, and how API-led connectivity approach is far better than the traditional approach because of these layers: experience layer, process layer, and a system layer. Okay, we are going to see with a use case what are these layers. Once you understand the power of an API, then we are going to start with the designing the API. Designing the API. So designing means how you are going to design the API. If you are exposing your application as a REST API, we require some language to define that. We are going to use any standard format to describe about REST APIs. If you have some knowledge on that, is there any standard format? Here we are going to use RAML, RESTful API Modeling Language, to describe about your REST API. Actually, you can use one more language also called Swagger, which is equally popular, right? And we are in our program, we are going to use a RAML. While designing, we will see how to mock that URL. I mean, how to mock the API, because if you want to take a feedback from the client while the designing stage itself, you need to mock the URL and you need to share to the client so that he can feel as if the application is deployed successfully and is getting the data. If you want any modifications while designing stage itself, he can send, if he can do some modifications on that, right? Once the sign up is done, then it will go for a development. Once it is deployed, client can send directly the request to the application and you will get a request. But how can you validate the request is coming from the authorized client or not? So here it comes into the picture, managing the APIs. That means creating a proxy, applying a policies, all these things we'll see in the managing APIs. And last but not the least, we have one more topic called third deployment strategy, nothing but a cloud hub deployment. We have seen already on-premises deployment and a hybrid deployment. The third deployment strategy is cloud. One change you need to do when you are deploying application onto the cloud hub at your application level. For we are developing an application to deploy on-premises, the small change you need to do for the same application if you are deploying onto the cloud hub. Okay. And while discussing about the cloud hub, I will give some brief introduction about admin level also. Whenever you purchase an account with the Mulesoft, they will give one admin account. There we will talk about how to create an access, how to create roles, how to grant an access to that roles, how to create an environment. So all these admin activities related, I'm also going to show you again, okay, in the Cloud Hub deployment stage. So this is the end of our topics. Any questions here? Okay. If not, I will let me talk about the prerequisites. To learn this tool, some prerequisites like basic, what is an XML, what is a JSON. Of course, you are not going to write, but by seeing that you need to understand, okay, it is an XML format, this is the root tail, this is the parent child, this is the, this is the root tag, this is the child tag. So you need to identify that, right? So XML is the prerequisite. And JSON, your application is going to expose as a REST application, so require a JSON format to understand, right? And the third one is web services. These are the three prerequisites. Basic, when I talk about prerequisites, it's a basic stuff is enough. Not required any Java knowledge, zero Java knowledge required to learn this tool. Okay, there are many speculations around. You should know about a Java to learn this tool, not required. Any questions here? About the information about the class, when it starts, the timings and all will be will be given by the coordinators. They will connect with you.